Greetings, YouTube. This is the Garage Autonomist. So, one of the things I wanted to address from my last video, and was me. It's really funny because throughout my years as an activist, and when I was younger, I just remember how the one thing when people say, "You don't know how I feel about something because I'm, XYZ, black, a woman, or whatever," then the other person would just get so fucking offended and defensive rather than actually just wanting to listen to why they said what they said and where they were coming from. One of the things that I was accused of in a comment was saying that as long as we're men, we won't understand what women are feeling and what they're going through. Now, this is what I actually said in the video. You're not a woman, so you have no idea what it must be like to be in a vulnerable situation, not what it must be like to be a woman. In public, as a woman, in a space where you are supposed to be safe. So that's what I said. As a politically conscious person, you can definitely read about, listen to, and learn from other people about what they have experienced at the hands of systematized oppression. But with all that studied knowledge, we still will not live the other person's lives. We won't experience or feel their fears, their joys, their anxieties, and so on. And so knowing what we know still doesn't put us in a position, the authoritarian position, I might add, to tell them what they should feel, what they shouldn't feel, what isn't hurtful, what isn't sexist, what isn't racist, or any of that. And to do so is coming from a privileged place and a reactionary place. To believe that oppressed individuals, I just needed to check something real quick. To believe that, to believe that an oppressed individual's authentication by their own experience is a bad thing, and you label it as reactionary, or if you label it as sectarian, is really you expressing your own feels that their situation is leaving you out and dismissing you. In other words, it's not about you. And to have that position and to hold that position undermines the very foundations of your pretense to being an ally and a comrade to anyone. So you just need to deal with that. And if you don't want to deal with it, it doesn't really matter. Go fuck off. Now, I've been accused for the second time this month of being an intersectionalist versus a revolutionary. We all know that this particular political line, it only comes from one group of people. It only comes from one particular demographic amongst radicals. I'm going to give you two guesses who that might be or who they might be. And it's funny to me that I'm accused of this because I didn't even know what intersectionalism was until about 4 years ago. Well, I'm being a little conservative, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. You see, when I looked up the word, I was like, okay, the overlapping and connection between race, class, gender, sexual orientation applied to whatever, politics. So, yes, that was all familiar to me because looking back from being a line cook and then later doing community activism and then working in a fabrication plant, all that stuff before, I left labor. But looking at all that over the past 3 decades, I was getting my learning on via class consciousness and intersectionalism because it was a seamless organic orientation, political orientation for me. The words that me and my former comrades used when I was in a Marxist-Leninist vanguard party, and then later on when I went into an anarchist collective, where the phrases that we used back then were solidarity work and internationalism. So in other words, before the fancy word intersectionalism had come to my knowledge, that's what all of that stuff was familiar to me based on practice. It came from practice doing political work, not sitting around reading books and then regurgitating the dogma on the internet. Oh shit, there was no internet back then. Now, looking at someone who got their quote-unquote anarchism out of a dorm room or a lecture hall or a skateboard park, I'm talking to you now, Operation Anarchism. I totally understand your reactionary response to intersectionality. I really do, because most likely your ideologue bot classmates who might have been LGBT or women or people of color were probably all in your face during your college days, practicing call-out culture on you like it was bad target practice, and it making you feel bad. And I bet you came out of that experience as some angry little privileged male who, by the way, is one breakup away from his girlfriend to becoming a right-leaning libertarian MRA. I just feel it in my bones that that's the case with you. I'm sorry. Did I make an assumption about you the way you made assumptions about me? Well, suck it up, Buttercup. Anyway, your aversion to intersectionality, which reflects you being a binary thinker, where you think people can't have a revolutionary class consciousness if at the same time, when they deepen their political consciousness, then when it comes to people of color, LGBT, in other words, you're acting like you can't do both of those things at the same time. Of course you can. You could do both, and you just have to not be a little dogmatic, sociopathic piece of shit at the same time. So that's enough about you, my son, because you just need to know that I know that dudes like you are a dime a dozen, and I've seen you before. And you don't impress me, you fucking little poser. You got that, you little cocksucker? Now, go make Marxism great again. Y'all, you know that the hit dogz hollar, that the reaction to my last video was, again, the point that I was trying to make was that what I said about where trans people I didn't say anything about where trans people should be going in terms of the bathroom. I never went into anything about defining the difference between women who were born women versus trans. I didn't go into any of that. I stuck with exactly. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Chet. Oh no, Phoenix, your text just. Oh yeah, your post just came through. You're asking me who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Operation Anarchism. He's a particular YouTuber, and you're saying denunciation appears to be the go-to philosophy of activism, which isn't a cohesive argument. I want to get to that in just a second, Phoenix. I just had a thought in my brain and I wanted to finish, and then I'll answer to you. But anyway, like I was saying, y'all, I wasn't going into things like who are trans women, who are not trans women, can they be here, can they be there. I was going exactly into the positioning of most so-called progressives and radical men who I feel are not really trying to get into the conversation from a genuine place, but really just trying to get back at or attack feminism and radical feminism. And that's what the video was really, really, really about. So anyway, I've gotten some videos coming up. I've got about 10 more minutes on here before I have to go. So I'm going to go in and answer some of Phoenix's comments. But he says that yes, denunciation appears to be the go-to philosophy of activists, which isn't a cohesive argument of any kind. Sorry, ethics by denunciation is not ethics to me. A call-out culture, yeah, exactly. And Phoenix, the thing is that it's funny. I know that when people listen to this channel, they hear some of the words that I say and things that I say, and they want to make assumptions about about my own political orientation and where I come from. And I just really needed to make that clear. We had already had a conversation, you, me, and Bewildered Ape, about my own background and how I became politically conscious. But that was out of a different context. The thing is that with this guy, he's trying to make it seem like I'm one of these little academic, intersectionalism is everything. It's not either or, in my opinion. I do believe that there are some basics of Marxism and communism and other theories that and practices as well that we should definitely keep, but doesn't mean that it should be so rigid that we can't be talking about where race and gender and all that shit overlap. And the fact that when people don't want to listen to you or bow down to, I'm sorry to have to say this, but the privileged white male in these circles, well, I'm not sorry to have to say it, actually, because the reaction that you get, the level of defensiveness is what bothers me. You don't think that as a black man, I've ever been called out on anything by women of color or really just women in general or gay people. I've said stupid things in the past. I've done stupid things. And the difference is either you learn or you want to learn because you want to be a better comrade. You want to be someone who you can work with, and I don't see it in any way of as another form of being placating or bowing down to anyone either. So Phoenix says, okay, yeah, I see, it's the crazy reaction you exactly, and they think that because there shouldn't, and they think that their reaction shouldn't get a reaction back. I mean, whatever. And that's the other thing. So what I was saying about it is that I've never been, and yeah, there were times when I didn't take some criticism very well from other people in the past. And there were still times when I might say, this person's just nuts. And they, call me out on something and I'm like, okay, let me think. Is this if what they're saying is valid, if it's coming from a real place? No, are they nuts? Okay, sure, but whatever. It's like, hold on here. Just wanted to update the title. But you just have to learn, or you don't want to learn, or just move on. And I'm not really all that I'm not really all that I'm not really all that bothered over I'm not really all that bothered over some of the people's reaction to my video yesterday. I was expecting that reaction, and hell, I didn't even mind the real criticism. I've had like for instance, I believe Anarchist Spectacle had some pretty good questions to ask me, even though I don't believe I was saying any of the stuff that Anarchist Spectacle had accused me of. But that's the reason why Anarchist Spectacle didn't get a mention in this response. The main person I wanted to respond to was Operation Anarchism, because I just think that he's full of shit. He talks and acts like a 13-year-old. Nothing that I said in that video garnered the level of piss from him, but I can piss longer and harder. So he just needs to really just step it down some. All right, now Phoenix, you said that don't hate me, but I'm not real comfortable being called a comrade. No offense. That's all right. I wasn't calling you one. I was saying, speaking for myself. In other words, if you are a non-woman, if you are a non-gay person, if you're none of those, but you want to do political work, or you want to build something with people like that, with people who are other than yourself, then being a good ally, I'll just call it that. Being a good ally, you want to learn how or how you can do that kind of work with them. Phoenix says that I'd love to hear you, and yeah, I keep not knowing how to pronounce this person's name. I finally went to his channel, Phoenix, and I had a conversation. He's pretty competent in arguing. I haven't had a chance to listen. I've gotten to his channel. I think I've even subbed to it, but I just haven't had a chance to listen to his videos. I still haven't even listened to your videos, especially the response to Revolution. to the revolution one. And as a matter of fact, tonight was the night. I'm trying to make a regular schedule where one night out of the week I can sit and listen, catch up on people's videos. I'm actually trying to bring back, going back to reading again, making that my regular schedule as well. So, you know. All right, y'all. So I've got about 5 more minutes before I have to go. But I just wanted to do this quick response. I didn't want to just start writing all kinds of comments in the last video to respond to everyone. To respond to everyone. Some people are going to get have gotten responses to me already in the comment section. Operation Anarchism, I felt, just deserved a whole fucking video, but not a production one. He's just not worth it. But me just getting on here and just responding live was good enough. So that's about 16 minutes. No, sorry, I've got about 3 more minutes. But then I have to go because I've got something else that has to happen very soon. So I'm glad that everybody liked the video. I'm glad that everybody didn't like the video. I'm glad that a lot of people came out and responded and they had critiques. Good. That's great. And to me, being an ally means helping out, but staying out of the way. You haven't listened to my videos. You hear it. I've listened to you. I've watched your videos, Phoenix. I just haven't gotten to I think you're like your last 5 videos, which includes the response to my other video about revolution. And in case Pure Butterfly Spirit hears this, I will be going directly to your video. I know you sent me a link, so I'm going to respond to it. You asked some good questions, and I would like to answer them, and I will answer them. All right, guys. So that's all I needed to do was just this quick response to Operation Anarchism. Wow, cool name, not. All right, y'all. Peace. I'll talk to you all later.